Oh my God. I'm currently watching the Love Island reunion, season 7. Huda is every black woman's worst nightmare and a POC friend. She is every black woman's nightmare. I am at 1 hour and 48 minutes. This is just after Olandria started crying and addressing all of the racism that she and Chelley were getting. This is shortly after Huda finally comes out and says, oh, well, this was the reason why I felt like I was bullied. Mind you, she didn't feel bullied in the moment. She was like, oh, she was having a good old tee-hee-hee time, being as toxic as possible all across the villa, attacking everyone, cursing at everyone, calling anybody out their name, being the crash out queen, Hurricane Huda, every casualty. And then after she leaves the villa, she's looking at the clips and she was like, oh my God, actually I was bullied. I didn't even realize it. I was just destroying everything. But you know what? Now that you mention it, I was bullied. And then I watched the clip that she was referring to. What bullying? Chelley literally just said, we weren't looking at you. Is that bullying, stating a fact that she was not looking at you? But here's the thing that gets me. And I've seen a couple of creators talk about why, not a couple, I've seen a lot of creators talk about why Black people, we prefer to not be lumped into POC, like people of color or BIPOC, like Black and Indigenous. The Black experience is very, very specific. And Huda exemplifies this because as Olandria is talking about the fact that just one example, just one small example in the sea of anti-Black hate that she's been getting as a result of Huda's actions, as a result of Huda's behavior. Olandria says, oh, well, there was a picture of my face being superimposed on George Floyd as he was dying. And the other part of that is that Huda's face was superimposed on the murderer of George Floyd. Yes. And Huda immediately starts, oh my God, I didn't know, I don't know. If you missed it, go back and watch it. Olandria says, I showed it to you at the airport. But Huda keeps talking, she keeps talking. And then in her just yapping, not listening, she goes, oh, well, I was getting racism too. Oh, well, I didn't have enough time to make a post about addressing the bull. And she keeps talking about the bullying. And I think it's very important to talk about why she keeps referring to it as bullying and not anti-Black hate or not racism. She only refers to it as bullying. Because if she can refer to it as bullying and then other people just accept it as simply bullying. Yes, bullying is a big thing, right? But racism, anti-Black racism is a completely different monster. But she keeps referring to it as bullying because she feels like she is also under the umbrella of bullying. She does not bring up racism. She does not bring up any of that until Olandria brings it up, until Chelley and Olandria bring it up. So that way she can say, oh no, but I'm under that umbrella too. I'm a victim too. The way that she is the perpetual victim of a story that nobody is buying. And she is okay with throwing Olandria under the bus. She's okay with throwing Chelley under the bus. She's okay with throwing Chris under the bus because none of them matter in the story that is the victimhood of Huda, other than the fact that she can superimpose them as Black bodies to be like, oh, they're the big bad bullies and I am the little delicate victim. There is a world that we are currently living in which people of color that are not Black, non-Black people of color consistently simplify and reduce the Black experience into something outside of the day-to-day struggles and horrors that we are subjected to in a world, in a way that they can also fit their pains and woes into. Under this same thought, a lot of people like Huda, I don't think Huda realized, like, yes, she left the villa, and she realized that she has like all of these followers, but I don't think that she realized how many people would ride for the Black women. And I think that this is also a thing that a lot of people also that are specifically anti-Black in a way that Huda is also anti-Black. There is a word, they don't realize that we will ride for our family, that people ride for Black women. Now, there's a couple other thoughts that I have in this. There's so many other thoughts that I have about this reunion, but there's two other thoughts that I want to bring up. One is about Chelley, the conversation that Chelley had with Huda, and bringing it back and then showing it to the cast, and Huda basically saying, "Oh no, see, like I brought Chris back for the both of us. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? This is like the perfect plan." Chelley was visibly uncomfortable. Go back, watch it. Chelley was visibly uncomfortable with the entire conversation. And I think that this goes back to what Chelley and Olandria were talking about, and I can't remember the podcast, talking about how they felt, how they knew that in going into the villa, they were representing Black women, and so they weren't able to speak as freely as the other women, Huda, were able to speak and still have people ride for them. Huda was out here like trying to get people to unconsensually have schmecks with her, and people are still riding for her, even though that was in 4K. Chelley and Olandria knew that they could not do that. And even when it comes to Huda making that proposition of, ooh, let's share this man, Chelley was clearly, obviously, not about that. But Huda went in with her own mentality. She went in with her own program and was just like, oh, well, I'm going to do this, and this is going to work great for us. There was nothing us about that. And it breaks my heart because you could see Chelley trying to navigate I don't feel comfortable with this, but I don't want to like say anything too that would be considered quote unquote too abrasive to make the crash out queen crash out or cry, because then I'm going to be labeled as the angry Black woman. Meanwhile, she was already labeled as the angry Black woman because like there was nothing that Chelley could do. There was nothing that Chelley could have done to not be a victim of Hurricane Huda. And because of that, within that clip where Chelley and Huda are having that very odd conversation, Huda was like, oh, I can get away with this because she quote unquote co-signed it, because she didn't explicitly say no, even though she was visibly uncomfortable. And I'm assuming hoping that Huda had a couple synapses to pick up on the social cues here. She did not. And even if she did pick up on them, she blew past them because she had an agenda. And then, no matter what, Chelley was going to be the actual victim of said agenda. And then on top of this, this is a side story, side step. I'm very proud of Chris. I've never said that about a man named Chris. I'm very proud of Chris. He's talked about his feelings. He talked about the actual, getting messages now. Interestingly enough, that was just a notification because I got to nominate a bunch of Black people for an award. Just Black people, mostly Black people, for an award. Fingers crossed. I just want to see my people win. Anyway, circling back, Chris, he talked about his feelings and the realities of his experience as it relates to Huda. And Huda was trying to play cool girl. Oh no, I'm not nervous. Oh no, I'm super cool with this. Oh no, everything is fine. And he was like, I feel uncomfortable. I don't like this. My mom is happy that this did not work out. He kept it to the point. He did not leave any room for her to put air or whatever into this. And you could also tell in this reunion, in a weird kind of way, it's almost like the editors were trying to give Huda like a positive cut in this reunion. But anyway, Chris stood 10 toes down. He's like, I don't want to be friends. I'm a forgiving person. I do not want to associate with her. Nor should he. She is an unsafe person to be around. And then inversely, lost a whole lot of respect for Amaya in this reunion, because especially in the aftermath of this show, during the show and especially in the aftermath, Amaya did not come to the aid of her melanated sisters. And this is why Chelley is always going to be the Latin representation for me. She is, listen, as a Haitian woman, we are the first Latino country. That is a conversation for another day. Chelley is the best Latin representation on the show, period. But Huda is just another example of why I am always saying I support specifically Black women. There's a lot of brothers out there that are just craving for a moment to be fetishized by a woman like Huda, and she is absolutely monopolizing off of this. And then she threw Netflix and Andy Cohen under the bus. the way that whatever team she works for, whatever PR program she works for, they're going to be working overtime trying to keep her in line from putting her entire foot up to the kneecaps in her throat.